Howdy, y'all. Well, I've been doing a lot of work on the outside, but it's time to come back on the inside. And I did this before the weather got nice. But we're going to work on the kitchen cabinets here. And so just taking that one out of the corner, and I'm measuring the one there to the left of the sink, seeing how high it is, and then comparing it to this one here. And this one was just a little bit higher, but then I realized it's because somebody put these little brackets on the bottom end here, probably to match it up to other parts in their kitchen. But yeah, so I just took those off, took the nails out, and then that one was oak wood, and I don't like the grain in there for the look I'm going for, so I got this grain filler stuff here. It's kind of the cheaper stuff, but I just mixed it up with some water and kind of made it to somewhere in between oat milk and oatmeal consistency, somewhere around there. I can use words. And yeah, just put a couple coats on here. I just show one coat, but I think I put about 3 coats on here and let it dry. And then I'm just using a little piece of wood and some sandpaper and lightly going over that. You don't want to take too much of it off, because then if you take too much off, you'll start to see the grain again. So it's kind of a little art form there. I think I did a decent job once I get the paint on there, but you know, I didn't know how it was going to turn out until I got it all finished and painted, because I'd never done this before. So if you're looking to do it, it didn't seem too hard. You know, just time consuming, and you know, got to use a lot of elbow grease, but I think it did well. And I'll show you guys some finished painting, probably not in the end of this video, but the end of the next one. But we'll go from here. So this cabinet is almost perfectly fit for this section here, because this open spot's going to be obviously behind the stove here. But to get this door open and not hit the stove, I had to bring it off the wall a little bit, which is just fine. You know, as long as the counter goes over there, we'll anchor it into the wall back there and whatnot. But right now, what I'm doing is just taking a marker at the kick panel down there, and just going to mark on the floor and then just cut it out, because it's, you know, there's no flooring behind it. So we'll just cut it at it so it sits in there, so it can expand and contrast during the changes in seasons and weather and temperatures and all that good stuff, since it's just a floating floor. So we'll mark it out, move that thing out of there, and cut it out and chip it out, and however we get it out and get those dogs out. And there it is. Just use the circular saw, and then this little guy, I forget the name of it right now, but yeah, got that cut out. And this one here, you know, it came out of the track and scratched it up a little bit here and back here, but you know, those are going to be hidden, so not too worried about it. But hopefully this fits in there, sits on the subfloor and not touch, you know, at least a little gap. Tried to go on this side of the line that I made just a little bit to give it a little space to expand and contract. So let's see if it goes in there. And there she is. I mean, I can always make more gap here if I want to, just push it over a little bit. This gap a little bit wider and then farther over than I should have gone, especially back there. We're going to put a quarter round over here to hide that gap. So it's going to be close. But again, as it goes back there, it's going to be behind the stove anyway. But right here would be visible, but quarter round to take care of it. And if it's not, I just put a spacer on the back and push this cabinet this way. So it's all good. Right now. All right, we took the plumbing off, the temporary plumbing, and moved these cabinets forward and marked out where I need to cut here. So we'll do that and put the cabinets back. All right. So I got the cabinet back off the wall again, because I was measuring it from the wall to the end here, and it was like 24.5 plus 1/16 away. This one here is a lot skinnier, which is fine. What I'm going to do is just anchor it in and then put a new piece of wood around the front facing, and then anchor it into this, which is fine because this is oak, and so I either have to fill in the grain or put another piece of wood on there. So I think we're going to go with another piece of wood. But this one here was 24.5. So I'm like, 24.5 probably is a standard width from the back to the front. So I was wondering what was going on, and it looks like this had an extra piece of wood on it. Excuse me. And so I'm thinking, and it looks like a a finished face on this. So I think this was originally like an island unit, which would make sense because it looks like there was an electrical outlet here, or they had a dishwasher on this side, wherever it was. But I think it was exposed on the back side, so either around an L piece where the back end was exposed as well as the front. So anyway, I don't need the back end to be exposed, so I went to see how hard or easy it would be to take this piece off, and it's not too bad. They did put some glue on it, but it doesn't look like it really adhered to the back of this, which it's like a smooth melamine or something, so it would make sense that it doesn't want to adhere too well. Yeah, so we're just taking that off. We'll put it back in there, and it'll be a ½ inch closer to the wall, but then might make a bigger gap here, so we'll just have to put an extra big piece of quarter round on the kick plate or whatnot, but we'll worry about that when the time comes. So we'll get that off, pushed it back in there, and then took everything out, A, to move it because it's heavy, and B, I'm going to sand this off in the front here and put some primer on there, so then when we choose the final color, we'll be able to do that. All right. So we're getting the major parts of the prep work done, but now before we paint it, we're going to have to take this one is an oak, so I didn't have to put any grain filler in it, but just had to, it had a really shiny sheen on it for just a lacquer, so I'm going to be painting it. So I just decided to, I don't usually do sanding in the house, but I decided it's just the front face of this, so we'll hook up the shop vac, and I had to hold the tube on the back of the sander there because it's a different size, but yeah, it didn't take too long, and then just kind of cleaned up in the end there. And so now we're just leveling it out, and I was marking the stud finder so I can figure out where to anchor it against this wall. And then we got the laser level out and trying to find the high and low spots and even it all out from different corners and fronts and backs and get it all as level as we can. And then we got it down to the point to where it's time to put primer on there. And I forget the name of this primer, but it's pretty good stuff. It's water-based, but it's like a hybrid, they said, where it has the performance of an oil-based, but on a water-based formula, so you don't have to worry about high VOCs. And it got good reviews, so I've been using it before. I think I used it on my upper cabinets. So if you've seen that video, you know what I'm using. And I think it's a Zinsser product, but I'll talk about it on the next video. And here's where I was able to finally start putting a coat on the side that I did the grain filler on. And you probably can't tell unless you got like a 90-inch TV, but it did pretty good coverage because I can't see the indents you'll get with most oak cabinets. So I was pretty happy with that. And now it's time to do the painting. And I went with a darker color on the lowers here. I'm gonna keep the white colors on top, and I decided to go with a darker shade here. I kind of like it. I did go super dark. It's a Sherwin-Williams paint. For some reason, I love using Sherwin-Williams. It's not so much the paint, I just really love their color palette. And this one here is a charcoal black that's called Iron Ore. When I did it, it kind of looks like it has some green tones to it, but I don't see any in the reviews and the color code descriptions, but maybe it's just because I have the green wall by my TV that just makes it feel like this is green. But either way, I think it really works well with the white top and then the countertop that I'm going to be putting up in here. And especially with the bronze copper sink, which, you know, it doesn't pop right now, but once I polish that sink up when it's time to finish this kitchen all, you know, properly, and we'll shine that copper sink up, and I think it'll pop really well. And then with the upper, if you saw the upper hardware, I used like a mid-century modern boomerang hardware that is a brass copper color, so it'll all pull in together nicely. And this little cabinet here is the one that went to the right of the sink, and then we're just giving all the front door facings and drawer pulls a nice coat of paint here in a different room, so I have a better workspace to do it on. And then it was time to put the drawer and door faces back on, so this is always a good fun step to get to. And most of my cabinets are not matching, you know, at least the door faces and whatnot, because it's what I got for now. And in the end, I will
match them up, but it's going to be at least a year from now. So I decided, well, what the heck, I'll just paint what I got and make it, look as best as I can, since I will be using it for quite a while. So I think I'm going to go with this look on this cabinet here for the rest of the others, where the drawer, the smaller drawers are going to be flat faced, and then the not quite shaker style on the door pull, or on the cabinets that pull open. So almost what we got on this side, but it doesn't quite match. So it is what it is. And yep, so just anchoring this side in, and you'll almost get a preview, or you will get a sneak preview of the cabinets or the countertops that's coming up, if you could get that real quick. But yeah, it's almost a secret, but we'll give you a picture here, and stay tuned. I'll put that one up in less time than it takes to get most of my videos in. Look at that fancy thing. All right, see ya.